it is good to be different in the long run, and there are a lot of benefits. Not saying your life will be so much easier if you get someone that's the exact opposite of you.
Sure.
There's gonna be conflict you need to work through no matter what.
Yeah.
There's gonna be communication that needs to be had no matter what.
Welcome to the You, Me, Us Together podcast. Thanks for being here this week. If you're listening or watching or whatever, we are talking about why being different than our partner is better. Because some people think they need to be the same as the person that they're going to marry, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So being different is pretty valuable, and we're going to just talk about some of those reasons and how we can use that to our advantage.
Yeah. Have you seen that in movies where people are like, oh, I just need someone that's the same as me. Like, all my same likes, all my same interests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about, the thing people say about opposites attract, it really is best that way.
Yeah.
It makes some parts of life challenging, but if you live with someone that's exactly the same as you, it's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It totally can be. Movies can make it work, having someone be the same as you, but movies aren't reality.
Yes.
And I think that's something that I've heard us say a lot, since we've been married. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you're different than me.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're different in this way.
Yeah.
Because if we were the same, it wouldn't work out that way. And
when we were dating, we actually thought, wow, we're a lot alike. We're really similar.
We had really similar childhoods.
Yeah, we did. But we've learned as time went on, wow, we're so different.
We have
in so many ways.
Similarities, in our past and things like that, but our personalities, night and day different.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Except for both being introverted. But other
That's
than
true.
that,
We're both introverted.
Yeah.
But, I feel like you run into a lot of couples where everyone's opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of them's a morning person and one of them's not.
Yeah.
Or usually one's introverted, one's extroverted.
Right.
Or,
yeah, and the cool thing is we get to pull each other out of our shells and kind of push each other to be better.
Yeah.
In the areas where we're weak, which is nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so something we've totally realized is just that it is very helpful to be different than your partner. And we're going to explain why we think that.
Yep.
So first of all, it's helpful to be different than your partner because we function better as a team. And I'm going to go into a sports analogy here. Here's where we're different.
Yep.
I'm the sports person in the relationship. You are not.
I'm not. My parents didn't watch sports. We didn't do sports. It was just we go to Super Bowl parties to be with people, but we'll play a game.
Yeah. Generally, the man is the sports person and the woman isn't.
In case you didn't know.
But generally,
Yeah.
We're different in that way.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm going to use a sports analogy.
Okay.
Because the word team makes me think of sports. And a team needs different players, obviously. And not everyone can be the same position. You can't have a football team where everyone is the quarterback.
Right.
You can't have a baseball team where everyone is the pitcher. You can't have a soccer team where everyone's the goalie.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so that's why it's really important that we are different in certain ways, is so we can work better as a team.
Right.
Is that a good sports analogy?
That's a great
I
sports
thought it
analogy.
was. I feel like my dad's going to be really proud of me for that.
Yeah. Go sports.
You're cute.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. So, we work better as a team. Secondly, there's less conflict.
There can be.
Usually.
Yeah, most of the time.
I know it can cause conflict being different too, because you don't think the same always.
Yeah.
But something we've both thought about is have you ever been in a situation with a friend or a family member where you guys are really similar,
Oh my gosh.
and therefore you're just butting heads on everything?
Yes.
I don't know if it's you're trying to be the alpha over the other person or what, but it's two people that are super, super similar just butt heads all the time.
Yeah. Because you're both trying to be the leader, or
Yeah.
you're both like, I don't care what happens, or
Oh my gosh. Yes, I was only thinking about strong personalities because you have a strong personality, but you're right. With like passive personalities, you're both like, I don't know, you choose. I don't know, you choose. Or it's like, what do you want to do? I don't care. And then you just both sit there.
Yeah.
In silence. Don't do anything.
I like to think of Big Bang with Raj. Raj is very much that way.
Yeah.
And he was with Lucy, I think.
Okay.
And they were like, they just didn't, neither of them were very, what's the word? They
Decisive?
had no idea how to lead. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so they just, it was not good.
Yeah. And so that's where it's like, it can create less conflict if you're different because you're not going to be butting heads or, you know, there is still conflict in being different. I'm not saying...
We have plenty.
Yeah, but generally.
Yeah.
Thirdly, we have different perspectives.
Yes.
Which, I don't know. I just always feel like most of the time, it's better to have more than one perspective.
Yeah. It's challenging because, like, we both come at a problem at a totally different place, right? You come at it thinking about, well, how is this going to make other people feel, or how do I feel about this?
Yeah.
And I come at it like, well, this is how it is, and I think we need to do it this way because that's logically what makes sense. And I don't really care about how it makes people feel. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Where women are generally more emotionally driven, men are generally more logically driven, which is kind of what you were just explaining.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, like, we just think differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
We
I
just
think
approach
more
life.
about people's feelings and protecting them in every single decision that I do. And you're like,
I'm just
like,
gonna
this is
do
what
I
makes
think.
most sense to me, so this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, or this is most efficient, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yours can come, if you didn't have me, you could come off more harsh and step on
Yes.
a bunch of toes, but I could end up being more of a pushover, and
Yeah.
you know, and so us working together
Helps us find that balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It makes for some hard conversations sometimes because it's like, I don't even understand why you don't get this.
and I'm like, I don't understand it either, but this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's super important. Those different perspectives are really valuable. We just come at life in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just, like, I try to, with a lot of things, especially like big decisions, I try to get input from other people because I know I don't know everything.
Right.
And if I can get someone else's input or perspective, maybe it will give me clarity and help me to, like, really think through something instead of just going with what I think is right, which sometimes is not right because, you know, I don't know everything.
Sure.
And so it's nice to have you here as my partner in life who knows me well,
Right.
and has a different personality than me and a different perspective to be able to come in and say, well, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And I'll be like, oh, I didn't think about
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
So
I agree.
it can be challenging, but I think in the long run it is beneficial.
Yes.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, it's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
The fourth reason why it's good to be different than your partner is just that we were created that way from the beginning. God created Adam and Eve different. One's male, one's female. He created Adam to take care of the earth, basically, and Eve to be his helper.
Mm-hmm.
Those sound like different roles to me, so it sounds like he created them different.
Yep.
Which all that's in the end of Genesis 2, I believe, is where he created Eve. So,
Yeah, and something I don't know if you were going to bring this up, but you mentioned it to me, how Adam didn't ask for a helper, but God was like, oh, you need a helper, and
Yeah.
I know it, even if you don't realize it, I'm going to give her to you because you don't know everything.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
something where, I don't know, I just hadn't read it recently, and so I assumed Adam was like, God, I can't do this myself, can you please give me a helper? And God was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, and then he created Eve. But I just read it, and it said, like, it didn't say anything about
Adam needing
Adam
help or
needing it.
asking for
I
it.
can even look it up right here.
Go for it.
Handy dandy Bible.
See how fast you are. Where even is
It's
Genesis?
hard. Oh, I opened right to it.
Look at you. Such a sheltered Christian kid.
I know exactly where it is because I was just reading it right before this. Did you say such a sheltered Christian kid? It
Good
comes
Bible
in handy
navigation.
sometimes.
I know.
Did you do that in Awana where you'd like have to put your Bible on your
Oh my
shoulder
gosh.
and then they
Yes.
would, I forgot what that was called, like Sword Wars, or
Something like that.
then they'd give you a passage and tell you when to go and you'd all flip to it as fast as you could.
Yes, I do remember that. There were prizes for who got there first.
Anyway, Genesis 2:18 is where it says, Then the Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Adam saying, Lord, I need a helper. God just decided, it's not good for you to be alone.
Yeah.
You need a helper.
Yeah, you get into too much trouble on your own.
Yeah.
You're not
But-
sensitive enough.
He specified, he used the word helper. And when
Yes.
he describes Adam earlier, which I'm not exactly sure what verse it is in specifically, but he doesn't call him a helper.
Mhm.
He creates him to take care of the earth,
Right.
and Eve to be a helper. Those are different roles. We were created different on purpose.
Yep.
God didn't just like copy and paste Eve, be like, oh, I think another one of you would be nice. Copy and paste the exact same thing.
Yeah.
He created something totally different.
Yeah.
So,
Not just for the sexual part.
yeah, that's true. But I think one of our Weekend to Remember conferences we went to recently, one of the speakers used his hands for an analogy. I don't know if you remember this, but he was talking about how if you're the same, you're just like butting heads,
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you're different and a little off, then you can come together
Yes, I remember that.
and be tighter knit.
You mesh together.
You mesh together well.
Like,
Because you can't like put your hands together. My fingers are weird and bend
Yeah.
weird, but they like just hit each other.
Yep.
They're a little different.
Like well meshing gears.
I thought that was a brilliant example. I was like, ah! Maybe it's
Yeah.
because I'm visual.
Like gears on a machine.
Yeah.
They need to mesh well, or else they will tear each other apart.
Yes.
So, yeah, I agree. We are different, and we need each other.
Yeah. I think it is good to be different in the long run, and there are a lot of benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying your life will be so much easier if you get someone that's the exact opposite of you.
Sure.
There's gonna be conflict you need to work through no matter what.
Yeah.
There's gonna be communication that needs to be had no matter what.
And it's not even about finding someone that's not similar to you. We can find some people that are similar to us, but it's about recognizing male and female, we are
Yeah.
just created differently, and we need to use our biological giftings to our
Mhm.
advantage and to our advantage, like as
Yeah.
a couple.
And it's good to have things in common because that's what you bond over.
I agree.
Like, I can't imagine if we were like different every single way. We wouldn't want to hang out with each other
Right.
at all.
We don't have a lot of shared interests, but we've learned to appreciate each other's
Yeah.
interests and weirdness and
Weirdness.
actually come to
Yeah.
enjoy some of it.
I think our differences are what makes us stronger.
Yes.
But we have to harness that strength in the right way.
And you have to have some commonality to even start
Yeah.
somewhere with someone. So
So that's about
that's all you got.
all I have.
Wow.
I'm just gonna do a little recap
Go
real
for
quick.
it, please.
Okay. 4 reasons why it's helpful to be different than your partner. First one is we function better as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Second one, there can be less conflict. Can be. I changed that to can be.
Yeah.
My notes I have there is less conflict.
Yeah.
There can be less conflict.
Yeah.
Third one, we have different perspectives. And fourth one, we were just created that way from the start. So,
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's all I have.
Amazing.
Short, sweet, to the point.
You're so efficient.
Thank you.
I'm so proud
That's
of
not
you.
not a word you use for me
I
very
know,
often.
Very unusual.
Efficient, not proud. You use that proud word a lot, and I love it.
I try. I know. It's your love language. I gotta use it.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a challenge.
Thanks.
So, anyway.
I know it's a challenge for you. It's okay. You're a challenge for me, too.
Yep. It's because we're different.
We're different. Nice.
Yeah, way to tie it in.
Thank you. Wrap it all up in a nice little neat bow.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's all we have. We will see you next week.
Yeehaw.
All right.